there, and welcome to the America Makes booth here at Rapid plus TCT. My name is Josh Cramer, Director of Educational Workforce Development here at America Makes. Awesome show here for our game day. Ms. Joy from the Colorado School of Mines, a fantastic member, engaged partner, just a great person engaged here at the Institute. Welcome, Joy. I'd like to give you an opportunity, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got going on over there at the Colorado School of Mines.
Sure. So my name's Joy Gockel. I'm an associate professor at Colorado School of Mines and also co-director of the Additive Center, which is our additive manufacturing research center, an industry consortium at Mines. So we do a lot of research in additive in addition to education. So we have a master's degree in additive manufacturing and then continuing working our way down to undergraduate students taking technical electives and doing outreach in additive. So we love to do all things additive.
That's fantastic. And I mean, obviously you've been connected to the Institute for a really long time. Been an awesome champion, not only in the education work, but the technical portfolio as well. Many people know America Makes obviously advancing, the adoption and maturation of additive. Folks like Joy are key and critical to that. I mean, your background, tell us a little bit about how you got started, where you come from and all those kind of great things.
Yeah, so I got my start in additive manufacturing as an undergraduate student. I had never heard of it really before. I got a research opportunity to do a thesis with a professor that I had enjoyed in classes. And that spun into going to Carnegie Mellon for my PhD, where I also did a project in additive manufacturing, and that was my first exposure to America Makes. So I was actually at the very first meeting in 2012. My advisor invited me to come up to Youngstown to this meeting that he was going to, and it was a really exciting thing to see.
Yeah.
And really the first time that I saw the community was really going to grow and the field was taking off. So after my PhD, I got a job in industry, so I worked at GE Aviation for a brief period doing process development for new materials in laser powder bed fusion. And then really the draw of fundamental research and working with students brought me back to academia. So I was a professor for 6 years at Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio, before moving to Colorado School of Mines this past August.
That's amazing. And I mean, obviously, this 10th year, this 10th birthday of America Makes really rings true for you, right? I mean, because you're talking 2012, when you've been engaged with America Makes, so that's super cool, right? And we've had an opportunity. I mean, so many folks that have been with us since day one are still engaged. Very neat, and obviously, your connectivity not only to industry but academia has been a strong pull. And again, as you know, for the educational workforce development portfolio, the voice of industry, the voice of defense, the voice of academia is critical and key to our success, right? Because we want to make sure via mission, in strategy, that we're always making sure that we're plugged into that voice. And so you've been a critical subject matter expert for us on a number of projects. One of the more recent ones was the work that we've done with NOCTI around the Essentials to Additive Industry Recognized Credential, not only focused on high schoolers, but we'll move into community colleges and up into adults and those kind of things. Can you talk through a little bit of that engagement throughout that process? And obviously you were a critical member of the team there.
Yes, that was a really fun project to work on. And it was a unique opportunity to work with high school teachers that were giving us the perspective, kind of pulling us down to what we can expect from high school students, as well as some industry members in the development of that credential. So it was really interesting to kind of walk through the knowledge that we can teach high school students and really get them to that stage. And I'm really excited for the day when high school students are taking that test, they're passing that test, and then they're coming to college and taking our additive classes there, because we can take it so much further. And we can really go so much further with the technology and really see that paradigm shift where students are seeing additive all the way through. So when they go out into industry and they get their jobs, even if they're not an additive person, but they're a design person, and they figure out when it makes sense to use additive, that's when it's going to be really the difference in advancing the field.
Yeah, and I mean, and that brings up a great point, right? I mean, it's one of the reasons that by mission we focus K to Gray, right? Because as much as we are dedicated to reskill, upskill current workforce and looking at job roles and competencies and cross competencies and adjacent competencies and all that kind of great stuff, we also have to work on that youth K-12, K-16 pipeline of talent, right? Because that allows us to really widen the funnel, more specifically. And we were talking this morning with a couple of folks just on, when we look at math and sciences, for example, right? It's that, drive to get to calculus by the senior year, and it was like, okay, when that change happened, and I won't reveal my age, but it happened during my generation where there was that push to really push algebra really down into low in the middle schools to get to calculus. And I see that happening now with additive as the adoption's happening, right? Because it's no longer that, most folks, maybe that perception that we've heard is that there's the one job in additive. Oh, I want to be an additive. I got that one job. It's like there's all of these roles, and it's some of the work that we're undertaking right now is like, identifying and defining over 100 job roles across industry. And it's just in additive, and really looking at those and allowing students to really see the competencies, the knowledge, skills, and abilities that exist across those roles. That was some of the work that we went through in Nocti and those kind of things, and so. I think that's a great place. And you and I had connected yesterday and talked a little bit about an exciting new project you have coming up, where I think we're going to get a chance to even work together some more, maybe leverage that Nocti credential too. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Sure. So we just had a project funded through the National Science Foundation Research Experiences for Teachers program.
Excellent.
And so with this program, we'll have high school teachers from our local school districts in the Denver area come to the Colorado School of Mines campus, and they'll do a project with our graduate students and with our faculty where they're actually researching additive manufacturing. So they're getting the capability to come to campus and use our metal printers, use our ceramic printers, and really see additive as an industrial manufacturing process, which is a different view that's not often seen at the high school level, because you have your plastic material extrusion printers and you're building fixtures and trinkets and things like that, but really exposing the teachers to the industrial aspects so that they can then educate their students and then see the multiple career pathways. We're also partnering with some of the local community colleges and other universities to really have the breadth of opportunities that are available for high school students kind of coming into the interdisciplinary additive field.
Yeah, and that real world relevance, I think, is where it really, kind of strikes a chord with folks, right? So when you talk to the, industrialized additive process, one of the things we focused on a lot of assets is making sure that folks see that A to Z process. It's a process, right? Because so often in the additive realm, folks can get lost into, well, I downloaded a file and printed it, now I'm an additive expert. And so like making sure that we're not focused there, but that's also what opens the doors to where these opportunities exist. And I think you can appreciate this. I used to, when I was speaking with students over my career, I would say, oh, you want to be an engineer? That's great, you're going to drive trains. And they just look at you and I'm like, what kind of engineer?
Yeah.
And so I think we're in a place in additive where it's like, what role in additive? And obviously, you've been a prominent member here at Rapid for a number of years, and when you walk through the floor and you see developments in technology, developments in materials, softwares, all of those kind of things, it's truly eye-opening to where the opportunity is. I know many years ago when I was still in the classroom, back in 2002, 2003, I shared with students the one really cool thing was the technology's not defined. We haven't hit the end yet. And here I am sitting in 2022, almost 10 years later, sitting here thinking, we still haven't hit the end. So that's got to be really cool on your end, being on the kind of the tip of tech research, deployment, academia, engaging with teachers and students as well.
Yeah, it's a great place to be, and additive is definitely still growing. We're still learning new things, which is great. As a researcher and an academic, we have tons of things to learn, and learning from other people. So the different fields that we're talking about, like electrical engineering or computer science or physics, all kind of bringing those fields together and figuring out what the opportunities and the multiple different pathways that you can take to get into additive.
That's terrific. And Joy, I know we're going to be working together on that NSF project. We're super excited. I'd like to give everyone a little bit of a gift as they leave. So let me find something down here. So I'm going to give you a cup for a little cold lemonade as we get into summer.
Excellent.
There's a luggage tag, so you can come to MMX You know, you can have your America Makes Luggage tag. Obviously, a great member of our Education and Workforce Development Advisory Committee as well. So, Joy, thank you so much for joining us. It's exciting. Can't wait to continue working together.
Yep, sounds great. Thank you very much for having me, and I'll see you at MMX.
Yeah, sounds great.